Right. Hello, YouTube. David Maldo here with Let's Do Video Stream. I know fans of our weekly stream are probably mostly here for Kelly. She sends her apologies. She can't make it this week. She said, don't worry about her. She's fine. Knowing her, she either worked herself way too hard and it needs some sleep, or she's a little hungover, or maybe a little bit of both. But either way, she said it's nothing serious and she'll definitely be back. But we have an awesome guest this week. I'm really excited. We have Marty from Bose. Marty, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers here?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Dave. Marty Bodley from Bose Corporation. I'm actually the director of Bose Work, which is a new business category for Bose. So last February, we announced to the world that we're getting into conferencing and unified communications. And so I'm sort of spearheading that charge, leading sort of product and technology roadmaps and all the business initiatives of Bose ramping up and getting into the space. So we're very, very excited about what we're doing and where we're headed.
Now, I think for people who aren't familiar with your entry in the space, probably know Bose. The way I used to know Bose was they uh, amazing reputation for super awesome consumer headphones. If any of you are audiophiles and you know what these are, you are jealous of me for having them. I can definitely say that for a fact. So it was maybe not too much of a surprise to see you coming into the space because video's gotten to the point where, hey, the basic video call works, and now we kind of need to ramp up the quality of everything else. And the most important thing of everything else is audio. So is this something where was Bose looking to do this for a while and then they found you and the timing was right, or did you have to kind of push them to do this?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I was the result of why they got into this, but no, I didn't push. Bose has been toying with the idea of getting into conferencing for many years. Bose is a 50-year-old company, extremely successful. A lot of people do associate Bose with headphones and great noise canceling, obviously the gold standard for noise canceling headphones. But they also have, some other spectacularly successful products, Sound Dock out loud audio products and speaker systems, and they have an amazing professional division, which is more business to business area, also an automotive division, and a newly spun up health division where we're focusing on people's hearing, people's sleeping, wellness type aspects as well. So Bose is broadening its capabilities, but I think for probably at least 10 to 15 years, they've been toying with the idea of getting into conferencing. 2 to 3 years ago, they made the decision to go ahead and do that. And within the professional division, go ahead and launch an initiative to get into the conferencing, unified communications. Given that audio is such a premium, we feel like we could really add a lot of value there. And this was all pre-COVID. We didn't know about COVID 3 years ago, but strategically, the company said, "Look, we can bring our expertise in premium audio to a space where there has been great progress. There was ramping of this cloud conferencing initiative was already underway, well underway. Good enough audio was starting to become pervasive, sort of at a lower cost, higher volume deployment happening in meeting rooms. Huddle rooms are starting to take off, that kind of thing. The video bar, Logitech introducing a video bar at a lower price point than what had been accustomed. This transition to cloud-based non-codec, systems in rooms was now starting to take off. And I think Bose just strategically felt like it's a great time to go ahead and bring our level and our quality of audio to the market to bear. And so the acquisition of Zip Room was a result of that strategic move by Bose to go ahead and bring me in. And so not only was the technology of sort of the user experience in the meeting room, which was the core technology that Zip Room had to offer, but also myself and our team with a long history of experience in the unified communications world. They sort of got the team and the technology together. And so that's what came about in the acquisition, which is now nearly almost 2 years old. We're coming up in January. It'll be a 2-year anniversary of the acquisition of ZipRoom. And so I took on a much larger role than just sort of integrating and figuring out what to do with the technology of ZipRoom, but we're developing a roadmap of products and starting to roll them out. I'm wearing the 700 UCs now, which is a team certified solution, USB dongle and 700 headset together, has a Teams button on the device as well. We're also Zoom certified, Google certified as well with this solution. So the USB dongle just makes it sort of bulletproof the operation with your PC and laptop. It kind of offloads the connectivity of the headset from the main stack and Bluetooth interface on the PC, so that it simplifies what the computer sees the audio device as just a USB audio device. Also enables the Teams button functionality and sort of interface with when you're using it with Microsoft Teams. So we're really embracing the partnership with all of these cloud UC partners like Microsoft Teams and Zoom and Google. So those are going to become strong. We're not trying to replace what they're doing. We're trying to make the whole user experience better and deliver that audio quality and user experience that Bose is known for.
Yeah, a few thoughts on that. First of all, for some of our viewers who may not be audiophiles, something that Bose did for us is really important that you need to know. Windows is bad at Bluetooth. I don't know why. I don't know why. This tiny little box is amazing at Bluetooth. This huge box that's under my desk is terrible at Bluetooth. So when I take and this isn't a Bose issue, but if I take any, and I have, them all on the shelf, or any of these good headphones, I turn them on and my phone says, hello, hello, we're talking to each other, and I get amazing audio. And when I try to connect it to my computer, and I went and I bought this custom Windows USB Bluetooth dongle thing that's supposed to work with everything. Don't It's one of those things I want to hit it with a hammer. And so Bose did us a favor and created a special USB dongle that works just with its headset to make up for Windows. If I'm bashing on Windows too much, you want to be friends, explain why it doesn't work. I'm sorry, Microsoft. I like a lot of stuff you do, but you kill me with this. But if you
Yeah,
use that dongle, then it works just as good as with your phone. And
correct.
and so that's important. But a higher level thing overall, I don't think this is just a good time for Bose to get in the industry. I think it was a good time for the industry to have Bose and companies like you come in, because we've been saying for a while, hey, video works now. It's good enough. Use video for your meetings, not just for so you don't have to fly, but for your daily meetings and stuff. But the thing that people don't realize is that good enough audio, like you said before, it's not good enough. So what do you mean it's not good enough? The video has to be good. I have to look good. And as long as it sounds like a phone call, as long as I can hear you, we're okay. And it's not okay because, sure, you can understand what people are saying, but you don't realize, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but from this, what I read, what I can understand of it, using more of your brain cells when there's lower audio, you're working harder and you get tired quickly. And people say they have Zoom fatigue, or they have Blue Jeans fatigue, or they have video fatigue, or they have meeting fatigue. They're really having bad audio fatigue. We've always said audio is the most important part of video, because right now, if the audio breaks up, we're done. If the video ends, we say, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, let's keep talking. But
Right.
it's not just that it's not just that it's a meeting ender, it's that it ruins your day. The 8-hour workday, you're out of steam after 5 hours of bad audio. So I'm wondering, are your customers getting this, or is it just that, overall you're offering, overall the video bar compares well to everything else, and it's just, another competitive thing on the market? Or is it like, we came here because we realize we need the Bose audio?
Yeah, I think you've touched on a lot of extremely good and becoming more and more well-known aspects, which is that when you're in a call for a long period of time, the poor audio is tiring. There's fatigue that goes on, and there's distraction, and you're not talking about the things that you need to be talking about. You're off thinking about, why does this guy sound, not like himself? we got into this, and Bose decided to get into this prior to COVID, but COVID has just really shined a light on this, by force, by putting everybody in these remote, working situations. And we miss those dynamics of actually being in person, where, we're at the water cooler, or even just the subtleties of like knowing what your colleagues sound like. And then all of a sudden we're in these calls, and they don't really sound like themselves, especially if you're not seeing them. Like people, a lot of meetings I'm in, people turn their cameras off. They don't, we're just hearing talking heads and little light up rings around their heads and that kind of thing, on their emoticons. But if they don't sound like themselves, then it is fatiguing. It's distracting. It takes you away from what you should be talking about. And we really feel like that's where Bose can bring a lot of value, which is, let's make people sound like themselves. Let's make them sound real. Let's remove stuff that we don't want to be hearing, that is distracting, that the person who's talking is not intending to send over. A lot of people are working on, background noise removal and that kind of thing. Bose is too. But we do it at the end point as well. We'll do it right on the headset. We'll do it with microphone arrays and with physical things, rather than just processing post the audio pickup. So there's a lot of advantages to latency, and just removing the noise at its source, rather than doing it as a post process. So we're looking at all aspects, and there's value to be had all across the food chain. But we really feel like people are, even before COVID, they want to work from a wider variety of places. We say work from anywhere. Work is anywhere, and that's now becoming even much more prevalent now. When we think about going back to work and the hybrid work model that everybody's talking about, where we don't just work 5 days, 9 to 5 at the office in the building. Probably not the new paradigm coming out of COVID. So
It's going to be a hybrid.
yeah. So even more so now, the idea of saying, hey, we've got to try to deliver a voice that sounds like Marty, or sounds like Dave. I want to know when I'm talking to Dave, he sounds like him. And that just makes me it lets my guard come down, and it lets me talk about what we're actually what's the topic, what problem are we trying to solve? What are we ideating? What creativity are we focused on, rather than these other distractions and fatiguing things that are going on.
Yeah, that's funny. I think of it. It's almost, yeah. When you say Dave not sounding like Dave, it's almost like you work with three Daves if you work with me, because I sound one way when I'm home on this microphone, and I sound another way if I'm at the coffee shop. Well, pre-pandemic, if I was at the coffee shop working off my iPhone, and I sound another way if I'm, on my iPad in the living room, and it's a little disorienting. But if I just have my Bose headset on wherever I am, I'm always just going to be the same David. Um,
Right.
Now, onto the video, and this is just just something that I've been having to deal with, and everyone in our industry is going to have to deal with. When I saw the demo of the Bose video bar, it was at ISE, and
Yep.
I saw a lot of, not a lot, but I saw other competitive video bars there. And the hottest thing is huddle, and everyone was going to huddle up. And when I saw it demoed, we were in a room that was 10 by 5, and we were sitting shoulder to shoulder, and there were 8 people around the table, and we said, wow, this is a great job of capturing all of us. Now, obviously one solution is that 8-person room is now a 3-person room, and if you stack them out rightly, you could still be social distanced. So, and another option is, these can be going to execs from their home offices as fancy home office systems. What is the strategy for that? I mean, we can go into everything, but for that particular device, um,
Hmm.
there's still a need for it. I mean, your competitors are still pushing theirs as well. This
Oh
is
yeah.
there is a place for this device. And like we said hybrid. We didn't say knock down all the offices and everyone works from home. I mean, the office is still going to be command central. So what
Absolutely.
is your feeling for the future of the Bose video bar?
Yeah, so let me give you a quick update on Bose Video Bar. We did launch it at ISE. We announced it anyway at ISE, and we announced that we would be shipping it later in the year. And so we are approaching actually going live with that. Our first customers will be receiving products in December this month, and we'll be sort of delivering to all regions around the world during the month of January. So that's a great update that the product is actually coming. Our early customers on that, some of the people who've been working with us under NDA, are absolutely delighted with the product. So as you mentioned, Dave, it's a nice wide field of view, very high quality camera. And so even in a post-COVID environment where maybe you're using less people in a room that would normally hold 8, maybe you put 3 in there, you still need that wide field of view, and you still need sort of auto framing, and you need some intelligence built into the video aspect of the thing. We also put that together with a very advanced microphone array that has 4 beams that are all steering and constantly monitoring for who's talking. So these sort of post environment things where we're migrating from a room that might initially hold 3 people, and then eventually we'll get back to using it for 6 to 8 people. You won't need to replace the device in that room to accommodate that sort of that staged get back to normal use. One thing we are seeing very heavily in the marketplace right now is that all-in-one video bars are selling like hotcakes. Our competitors are doing very well with theirs. We're getting enormous amounts of interest in ours, even though we're not shipping it yet. We're very close to shipping it. So companies are using this time where there's not a lot of people in the buildings to get ready for when there will be people coming back. So they're enabling more and more spaces. They understand that there will be a hybrid meeting. They may be repurposing sort of the footprint of their internal spaces, and not as many large rooms and sort of 20 person meeting rooms, but more gathering areas. But they're going to need to be video enabled because there's always going to be 1 or 2 people that are not in the office. So they're going to need to tie them in, and that this kind of video ad hoc meeting types of things are now very prevalent. So you're always going to need to be able to tie in a person or 2 that are remote, and their companies are just embracing this kind of all-in-one. We're also seeing a heavy emphasis on bring your own device type settings. So rather than the sort of dedicated room system, it's more like, hey, show up with your laptop or your phone and launch the meeting from that device and run the meeting from that device with a couple of people around you. So those kinds of scenarios are very, very well suited to our all-in-one video bar and VB1 device. So we're very excited about the new product. We think we've done a great job of sort of establishing Bose as a premium option in the space. And that's where we want to live. We bring a brand and a reputation, and we plan to deliver on that, sort of being a best in category, depending on which device you're talking about. That's where we want to live.
Yeah, and honestly, there's value for that. It's not just, hey, our company's doing successful. We want the nicer model that looks a little nicer and sounds a little nicer and all that kind of stuff and
Mm-hmm.
has the Bose name on it. There is a real need for it, and I think it goes into the way we're using these devices now. It used to be the meeting, right? We have a meeting with the remote people that can't be here, and we'd go over our work. They were talking meetings, is what I'm getting at. They were just talking
Mm-hmm.
head meetings. And now we're doing working sessions. And working sessions, especially for marketing people, creative people, there might be music involved. There might be videos involved. And I didn't this is sometimes, I'm like, why does it hit me months afterwards? But there's something that happened in that demo you did for me at in Amsterdam, that hit me a few months later why it was so important. And it was when you played music through the device,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys come from come from the Bose world of music. You have that power, and I don't think people realize most speakerphones, meeting room speakerphones, business speakerphones, don't have the power for music. They're not designed for that. They're designed for the short bursts of speaking. So when people talk, they do a good job. But you've sat in come on, anyone who's watching this, you've been in a conference room and someone starts their demo video and music starts to sound like this. It comes in and out, right? Isn't that I'm not a good impressionist, but that's kind of what it does. It's like, why is it getting louder and lower? Why can't I hear the music? It's because the speaker's underpowered. The speaker
Yeah.
just doesn't have the muscle for it, because why would they put that in there if it's just for talking in videos?
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's underpowered, or it doesn't have the frequency response. Like, it was just designed for voice, 3K audio, 4K, whatever. Again, hey, look, we're Bose, right? So we really pride ourselves on out loud audio. half the people in my division are musicians. So it's
Mm.
just like it's wired into the DNA at Bose to say, hey, look, and we're really happy that more and more multimedia type things are creeping into meetings, and it's not just the creative people, but people want to show a YouTube video that they saw, or a live stream like what we're doing right now. So these kinds of things often do include music in high fidelity types of
Yeah.
situations. So we think that it's becoming more and more prevalent. And when we enable devices, look, we're the leader in home theater sound bars. We know how to fill a room with very realistic sound. So we're
Yeah,
bringing
this
that
isn't
to the
something you
conferencing
decided
space.
to put in. This is something you would have
No,
had to
no,
take out. You
yeah,
would have had
this
to
is
de-engineer it to make it not do this.
well, to some
I
extent,
mean,
yeah, but I mean,
this is
there's
how
the
your
cost
this is
in
how
it.
Bose audio works.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, I'll be honest. I mean, we didn't just take everything that's in a home theater
Oh,
soundbar and put it into, there's a lot of expense involved in doing something like that. And we make smart decisions, but at the same time, why not make a device that can play great audio for music, for movies, multimedia? And so we've done that with the VB1. You're going to get a great audio experience, whether you're listening to music, whether you're watching a video of some kind, any kind of multimedia. You're going to get that, as well as great sounding audio during meetings, so that Dave sounds like Dave to the people
yeah.
listening in the room. Yep.
And that wasn't, it was important even pre-pandemic, we were starting to do more things on video, but now that we're
Oh,
working on video all
yeah.
the time, and the demo was dramatic because we're sitting in this room and we went to the demo and said, we're going to put some music through this to just to show you the power of it. I'm like, oh, they're going to play music through it. Oh, that makes sense. They made it, they're Bose. They made it good enough that it can handle music. Okay. And as your team went to hit the start button, I saw people from your team who had been in the demo before, Bose employees, all did this. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be loud. So I did this, and it was, I mean, it was a small room but
Yeah.
I don't remember, it was like Ozzy Osbourne or something. It was like, it was real. I was rocking out to it, and I did not expect that. And at the time, I'm like, that's more than we need for talking on video. And then, as I'm working on video all day, it clicks. I'm like, oh wow, people need this thing.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times when you come out with a product, we don't want to just do something because we can, but at the same time, we do see the world going that way. So why would we not embrace that? We want this product to be around for 5 years, or more. And so, in 5 years from now, do we think we'll be doing more multimedia? I would hope so. Certainly, I think the answer is yes. We've got 5G rolling around. I think people are going to become more accustomed to having higher capabilities right in the palm of their hand all the time. So sharing, audio and video rich content is going to become more and more ubiquitous. 5 years from now, it's
Oh,
it's going to be a whole different world, right? So yes, we're excited to become part of this video enablement of the business and knowledge worker. A lot more of those knowledge workers are now going to be remote. We know that we talked about this hybrid model. Before pandemic, before COVID, maybe I think estimates are around 25 million people were working remotely out of 600 million knowledge workers worldwide. Right now, coming out of post-COVID, that's going to be 150 to 200 million, somewhere in that
yeah.
area. So it's and it's way higher than that right now because we're all sort of quarantined to our corners. But coming out of it, it's going to be a big, big number. And I think that with 5G rolling out, with more multimedia applications rolling out, we're going to need video enablement with high quality audio, things like what I'm wearing here, video bar devices, all in one products, the desktop, work from home, personal use. Bose is really good at wearables. We're investing a lot as well in wearable space. So a lot of people like different wearing styles, but they still always want what's at the heart of it, which is that great audio. We're never going to drift from that, but we will give you different wearing styles. So whether it's a true wireless in-ear solution like our new Quiet Comfort in-ear products that are out now, we're going to be busy bringing those through with certifications with Microsoft, Zoom, and Google, and bringing those to the business user and making sure they have what they need, like the USB dongle, in order to make it a seamless
Mhm.
work experience. We're going to be going ahead and bringing wireless portfolios there. As I mentioned, noise removal, AI, machine learning algorithms. We're working hard on that kind of stuff. So we'll either be embedding that into our products or our applications and software to even further deliver that awesome audio experience where you don't want to hear. It's not just the doorbell or the dog barking, when the FedEx guy shows up and the dog's going crazy, but even just more subtle, fan noises and things like that, reverb in rooms, things that you don't
Computers
want to hear.
humming, yeah, all
Yeah,
kinds of
exactly.
things.
Yeah, typical stuff.
Yeah, a few things. Well, first of all, there's a lot of companies that make peripherals out there. There's a lot of companies that make headsets out there, and a lot of times when they try to come into our industry, it doesn't work well because, to be honest, video you see it's a weird little industry. So I think having you and your team there is really crucial because Bose can make the best devices in the world, but if they don't know how to integrate them into our workflows, um, that's it's just not gonna click for us. And the fact that you're talking to Microsoft, the fact that you're talking to Zoom, the fact that you're talking to all those companies, and you're interested in what those companies are doing and how they work. You got a Microsoft button where you need a Microsoft button. That's kind of the key to not just being another great headset out there, but being part of our UC world. Um,
Yeah, I think Bose is very big on sort of starting from the outside and working backwards. We're not just developing this stuff in dark in the labs and then we come out with something. We're engaged with channel partners, we're engaged with the technology and cloud partners, and with the end customers themselves. I mean, we're very rigorous about our interviewing and our learning and how we develop our both product and technology roadmaps, and where's our secret sauce. What are we developing? We're big on research and development, so we have a long history and a tie into MIT, but even larger than that, just a philosophy that we really develop and try to deliver a wow experience, not just a good enough experience. So we want people to be delighted when they use our products, not just like, oh, okay, this thing works like a headset. Okay. We want them to say, this is incredible, so that they tell their friend about it and they go and want that as well. Right. So we want to really deliver experiences that are memorable and that are sort of wow.
so I just have a quick side comment. Then I want to get back into the noise reduction thing.
Yeah.
And then we can wrap up. I've been taking a lot of your time, but this is really great stuff. Um,
It's my pleasure.
I love the fact that you use the word wearable. Because people always come to me and they say, "What is the best?" When I'm setting up for my stream, for my podcast, what kind of camera should I use? What kind of software should I use? What kind of headset should I use? And I always say, it's like a piece of clothing. It's a wearable. Are you going to ask me what kind of shirt you should wear? If you're comfortable with over the ear, wear over the ear. If you're comfortable with in the ear, wear in the ear. If you don't like anything, find a way to get echo canceling working and get a speaker. But it's like an article of clothing. It's whatever you're comfortable with. So I love the fact that you called it a wearable. But back into the noise reduction, everyone's talking noise reduction, and you touched upon it. But I know, you guys got some serious research going on. Is there anything? And I don't want to get into the NDA stuff. I don't want to get you in trouble. But is there
Yeah.
anything you can add to to what your team is doing on the noise reduction thing? Because especially as we're all working in all these different environments, I can't just shut my office door if I'm not in an office. That's
Yeah.
going to be a really crucial thing for audio.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that we have a division that's focused on health and sort of hearing and wellness and sleeping. And one of the technologies they've been under development with for several years is a noise removal algorithm that was originally targeted at helping people in noisy restaurants who have hearing loss, that when you're in a noisy environment you literally can't focus and can't hear what the person across the table from you is doing. And so they were working on ways to solve that problem, and they started down the road of developing a learning algorithm that would solve that problem. And so as a result of that sort of head start that we had in that area, we have recently started applying that technology towards UC and unified communications. And we've rolled out a product that runs on a laptop and a phone that basically does this background noise removal, leaving only your voice in a natural sounding, full fidelity way. It removes other stuff that's not wanted. and it's actually called Pinpoint. We're actually alpha testing. I think it's either alpha or beta, but we're testing with a select group of people. You can get on the wait list. You can go on the Bose website, look for Pinpoint. There's actually I think a wait list there, and you will be granted access at the right time whenever this thing is being rolled out. But they're looking for people to that are willing to give feedback and use the product. It is amazing. I mean, we have some videos up there on the Bose Pinpoint website that you'll see, sort of what it can do in certain different aspects. By turning on the filter and off the filter, you can see different use cases there and play with it. It's very cool technology. It is a learning technology, so the more we train it, the better it gets. But we plan to roll that out and actually deploy it in lots of different embodiments that would either be running on our devices at the very edge of the network, maybe on an app, either on your phone or on your laptop, and also, potentially with in the cloud as well. So there's lots of different ways we can deploy that type of technology, but there are advantages to deploying it right at the edge at the source of the noise, as I earlier mentioned. So we're going to be looking at lots of different embodiments of that, but we do recognize and think that that's an area where Bose has a particular expertise, and we're going to bring that to our customers.
Yeah, that's something that we need now. We're gonna need more of it in the future, and y'all are good at it. So help us
Yeah,
out here. And I love the
yeah.
fact that it comes from a wholesome place. Even the little kittens down there, kittens love a wholesome story.
Look, the kittens are delighted with that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
if we're helping grandma, hear the grandkids' stories in the restaurant, that is really I mean, come on,
yeah.
it doesn't get better than that. Well,
Well, I
is there?
know when we get my mom, on a Zoom call with like 10 different people and talking heads, she's completely overwhelmed, and it's mainly because everybody's talking at the same time. So,
Yeah.
we got to try to figure out how to solve that problem on the personal side. So,
I love everyone complains about them, but I love those chaotic family gatherings where whoever the host is doesn't know where the mute all button is and no one can hear each other.
yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So, if there's anyone who's watching who wants to learn more, they can go to. Is there any just Bose.com, or is there a specific place on the website for the business
Yeah,
stuff? Or
for the Bose Work Initiative, you go to pro.bose.com and you'll find the Bose Work website there. So under the Pro division, and that's where all of the sort of topics around the 700 UC and our certified products and the video bar information there. New products that'll be coming out will be posted there as well. So, and we do have a committed roadmap of things that we're working on. The Pinpoint initiative is being run sort of as a grassroots, thing right now. So that's in sort of early learning stages. So if you're interested in that technology and you want to become an early tester of that, then go ahead and sign up. Just go to look for Bose Pinpoint. We have a separate website set up for that.
awesome. It looks like some of our viewers, we have Joy in chat. Excited to see what Bose Work has in store for us in the coming months. Thank you, Joy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be sure. I'll try to remember to put the link that Marty shared in the description of this video so we can get it on the replay. And
Yep.
anything else we need to know? Anything I forgot to ask?
I don't think so. I think, I'll close by saying, hey, we've got our 700 UC headset on the market right now, and we're about to start delivering the video bar all in one product, which is absolutely a stunning product. So, go ahead and check it out and reach out to either our website and get in touch with us, and we can put you in touch with who to get a product to try. And we're excited to be getting into the industry.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. This is an awesome discussion. Really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you next week. We'll be back with Kelly. Everyone, take care.